Key pound.
In a world,
Get the hell up!
where Carolina Panthers fans
Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding.
have an insatiable thirst
I need to see a lot more of that shit going forward.
for Panthers news and opinions.
All my C3 brethren from the C3 Legion.
Only one podcast roars ferociously.
The longest running Panthers podcast on the internet.
It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Oh, Greg, I owe y'all $100, man.
This Panthers defense is bought, not built. And are the Panthers Miles Sanders away? Adios, Miles. Welcome to the C3 Panthers Podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. Tonight's show, Panthers free agency ignites defensive overhaul in Carolina. The Panthers are bringing back who's back in town? The cornerbacks are back.
Who is
in town. Jaycee Horn, Mike Jackson, Trayvon Mowing, new addition. There's a lot of seconds and thirds. Bobby Brown, my prerogative, the third. And did the Panthers overpay anybody? We're going to figure out all of the latest free agency news with the greatest Panther fans. But that's Cody's line. I do it each and every Tuesday with my wheelman, Cody Lack. My man, how you doing?
Tone it done. There's nowhere I'd rather be on a Tuesday night than sitting here with my boys talking Panther football. And just like last year, the Carolina Panthers committed themselves to rebuilding the trenches along the offensive line. Well, damn it, Dan Morgan made good on his promise, and he got us heavier in the middle, upgraded this defense a ton in a bunch of different ways, and it looks like we're going to have another center battle going into 2025 as the Panthers did a ton to continuously build upon that offensive line depth. Tony, you know that we would never do this without the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. You know them and love them. It's Adam Sanders, Antonio McClenningham, the brand ambassador, Diesel Skills, Panther Pickle in the building, Drew with the flu, Final Boss, Harvey London, Kristen Butler in the building, Mata Lomax, D Money, and VR, the Hope Dealer. Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
The number is 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. And I know we're all trembling. Tommy trembling to hear the Golden Pipes of CK. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Man, sorry to miss last week, but good to be here for a free agency recap that, I wasn't able to really talk about yesterday, but, it's good to see some Panthers moves. I don't think there's a ton that is to be like over the moon about, but honestly, I don't think that's a bad thing. Outside of maybe the extension to Jaycee Horn, that's one of those things where it's like, we needed to get it done. It's just wild to hear the words that he's the highest paid defensive back in NFL history. So that's an interesting little, tidbit of information. But glad to have that dude locked up and happy to be here with you boys talking about the Carolina Panthers and some actual news as we lead into, our draft talk in the coming weeks.
Lots to talk about, y'all. Be sure to help the podcast by smashing the thumbs up button, subscribe, and be a friend, tell a friend. That's a Pat McAfee line right there. Take that little link, repost it, put it on Facebook, put it on X, put it on Reddit, wherever you go and hang out and talk Carolina Panthers. Tell a friend, tell your neighbor, tell your mama. Be a part of the show. And remember, you can be a C3 super fan for just $1.99. Cody, let's get into this. The Carolina Panthers have been getting busy. And while CK said nothing extremely like one thing, what's exciting is the Carolina Panthers defense stunk. It stunk for a while. And you know what? It's different. It's completely different, except for those two cornerbacks.
It stunk like a porta potty on a construction site, Tony Dunn. The most points ever given up by a defense in NFL history. We were that bad. Dan Morgan and Brant Tillis together made it their mission to overhaul this defense in free agency. And that's why I've titled the show tonight, Free Agency Ignites Defensive Overhaul in Carolina. But boys, to go new, we have to start with the old. And that's right, CK already alluded to it. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. The Carolina Panthers have indeed, like I predicted they would, made Jaycee Horn the highest paid corner in the NFL. His 4-year, $100 million deal, $25 million per year with $70 million guaranteed, makes him the highest paid corner in the NFL. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. It's only fair to get CK and his opinion on this, Tony, and to every fan in the chat. Did the Carolina Panthers do the right thing by making Jaycee Horn the highest paid defensive back in NFL history?
CK, you open up.
That's such a hard question because, like, I think that what he did this year deserves having gotten paid, but I also worry that 1 year of that type of production, not following number one wide receivers on the NFL's worst defense in the league in history, might have been a rich contract. I am not mad to have him back. And honestly, this is probably going to be a short-lived, top of the list for him being defensive back, the most expensive defensive back in NFL history. I'm sure that somebody's going to come in and be like, well, I don't want to be second to Jaycee Horn, so I'm going to be, pushing for something more. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see that before draft comes around. We'll start to see these prices go up. But man, I am concerned just based on the history of injury and the price of this. But the alternative is we did save $5 million this year to allow us to kind of stock up on these other defensive players. So there was a cap benefit in doing so. So he might be the most expensive, but he also saved us money this year. It's just we're going to be paying for this contract for the coming years after 2025. And that worries me a little bit, especially if for whatever reason he doesn't live up to this contract, which I am super hopeful he is. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'll put it that way.
So it's also important to note that the salary cap came in, I want to say, at almost like $22 million over projection or something like that. It's just, dude,
the NFL prints money, dude. They just
the NFL football is America's real pastime. They tell you that it's baseball, dude. That's bullshit. It's the
changed.
NFL.
No, it's changed. It's been the changing of the guard.
It is, but listen, there's been a lot of pushback to this signing, right? Now, we're all a fan of JC. I'm a fan. I've said for a long time that when Jaycee Horn is healthy and on the field, he might be the most talented player on the entire team. However, a lot of people feel like this is an overpay for a player who has never played a full season in his entire NFL career. And I do think a little bit of that is warranted. This got a little bit of notoriety from Chris Sims, who had a lot to say about the Panthers extending Jaycee Horn.
Jaycee Horn, $25 million a year for a guy, and I got a text from a GM right away.
Well, what did it say?
Played.
Like, whoa.
He's $25 million a year for a guy who's played in 37 of 68 games. Let that sink in.
I think that was the most shocking contract of the day. Jaycee Horn, I get it, is a good player, right? But did I think I was going to ever say highest paid DB in NFL history Jaycee Horn involved in that sentence?
Sounds like I listened to this
at the
before.
start of the No, I did not. I totally get it. Hey, they like to play a lot of zone. EJ Evero's a really good defensive coordinator. He's a guy that covers ground. He tackles. He's big. He does that. But to say he's the best corner in football or anything like that, no, not quite yet, and especially with the injury concern.
So a lot of what CK just said, echoed by Chris Sims almost verbatim. There were some points to what he made. However, there's still a lot of good feelings behind this contract. Tony, CK, what does Chris Sims have wrong?
Well, what he's got wrong is he's using, there's certain points that are right. Is they brought up the limited games he's played in. They brought up that he's not the best corner in the league. But what they failed to address, and it just is what it is. The circumstances are what they are. If you're buying a house right now, the interest rates are high. It's just what it is. Like,
Yeah.
you want to not live, you want to not buy a home, you want to not get started. The Carolina Panthers didn't have a choice in this. They had no defense, and to know that they needed this position. They had a good year. They invested a lot in him as a draft pick. He has a lot going for him. He's played well. When he's been on the field, he's played great. He's got the NFL pedigree. He looks like a guy. He looks like the guy, right, when he's out there. So it just is what it is. And right now, the interest rates are high. And you want to go buy a home? Yeah, it's more expensive than it was 4 years ago. But to say I think this is to nitpick over, well, if he would have been paid $23 million, it would have been a good signing. But since it's $25 million, it's problematic. The thing is there's all the time players getting paid that are not the best at their position, but it's the timing, the market, the rates. And you remember when Tom Brady used to bring this up all the time. I think Aaron Rodgers was trying to get this, is like anytime a quarterback got signed and had a bigger contract, it gave him an opportunity to renegotiate. Do you think that whoever signed the latest quarterback deal is better than Patrick Mahomes? No. Do you think that, and this is every year players get more expensive. The NFL's printing money, like you said. The Panthers had nothing. Look, you're not the coolest dude on the block. You're not the best looking dude on the block. You don't get to go and pick the girl up, dress in a t-shirt, and not open the door for her. You gotta show up and you gotta charm her and you gotta take her to a nice restaurant. The Panthers didn't have the ability to take Jaycee Horn to Chili's. They had to take him to Ruth's Chris, and that's what they did. Yeah,
so listen, I put a poll in the chat. Are you happy the Panthers made Jaycee Horn the highest paid corner in the NFL? As of right now, 83% says absolutely. 17% say no, never played a full season. And listen, Tony, you already kind of said it, man. This is the cost of doing business. Whoever the next man up is normally gets to reset the market. But also, I don't want us to pretend like all of Jaycee Horn's injuries weren't kind of fluky anyway. We're not talking about a guy that's had multiple ACL tears or a bad hamstring or a torn Achilles. None of that shit. He doesn't have a bad back. None of those things. The dude, he had to make some changes to his offseason preparation to better take care of his body. He absolutely did that. And listen, when he's on the field and when he is up against some of the better corners in the NFL, the dude has been lights out. They even put it on this one picture right here, just the amount of numbers that he was able to hold guys like Cortland Sutton, A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams. He was a lot down corner for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
And you add on top of that, we'll talk about Mike Jackson coming back later. That proved to be a very potent 1-2 punch at corner for the Panthers. I think that allows them to continue to build out the rest of the roster without having to worry about shopping hungry by the time you get to the draft. I'm a fan of this. I knew you were going to have to pay him that amount of money. I've already accepted this. I'm happy for Jaycee Horn, man. I think this is ultimately a good thing for the Panthers.
Yeah. And I'll throw this out there too. Like the argument. So Chris Sims, the fact that his statement is he's not the highest paid to you guys, he's not the highest paid because he's not the highest, or let me rephrase. He's not the best corner but he's getting paid like the best because the best corner isn't available to anybody else.
Yeah.
So it's like you said, it's resetting the market. It's like the Patrick Mahomes, that's the greatest metaphor you can put out there. Does that mean that Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes because he's getting paid? No, maybe 1A and 1B, but Patrick Mahomes wasn't available to the Bills to sign. So, when he's the best available quarterback for them, they're going to have to pay him. Same thing with anybody who decides to sign any of these top dollar free agents. They're not, most of these free agents are not the number one person at their position because most of those guys are not getting let go of from their team, right? So you've got to keep in mind, we have to be able to maintain keeping these guys that we draft high and not let these guys walk out the door like we have in the past, especially when they play very well like Jaycee Horn did. My only concern, and I think it's valid, is he's getting paid so much to be a zone corner.
Yeah, but that's what Rivero runs.
I know, but my issue, even though we are a zone, like I think lockdown corner to me is lockdown number one wide receivers. And we can look at that stat all day, every day and say that that's a great stat. But when you look at the percentage of the plays that he was actually lined up with them, those stats make a little more sense. Doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that he didn't really get an opportunity to be taken to the cleaners with any of those number one wide receivers that they were listed there in a more significant way. When you start to look at that, you're like, okay, maybe that's what concerns me is like, when you're going to pay a guy like this, he needs to be following the best weapon on the team that's opposite of them, because otherwise we're back to square one with these situations. Like, all they're going to do is attack the side of the field Jaycee Horn's not on, and if they can just line Jamar Chase opposite of Jaycee Horn on the other side of the field, well, Jamar Chase is going to have a field day.
Yeah. That was
in the scheme, not limitations in the player, maybe.
I know, but that's my point is like paying him to be guarding number 2 and number 3 wide receivers is what worries me. Do I think he's capable of guarding number 1? Absolutely. But I think that this goes back to the like, can you afford to put this type of money in a defensive player that you're not really going to utilize to the best of his ability because you're putting him up against people who don't really have any chance against him?
Is there any chance that they do decide to let him travel more this year, or do we just need to let that be a pipe dream because Jero Rivero is still here? I'm going to be real, boys. I think that out of all these defensive signings that we're going to talk about, a lot of it is tempered by the fact that if Jero Rivero is still here, and if you don't really have a lot of love and belief and faith in Jero Rivero, maybe none of these signings do anything for you. I don't know. There's a lot of questions that have to be answered this time next year, but we had to start somewhere, and the Carolina Panthers started with Jaycee Horn. Now, Tony, you and I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but again, CK's here, and for those who didn't see our little impromptu pod yesterday, boy, this was a story, and it had the Panthers looking pretty dumb, if I do say so myself. Most reporters, like Adam Schefter, Diana Rossini, they had put out that former Eagles defensive lineman Milton Williams is signing with the Panthers. I mean, this was all but official. They had reported it on Pat McAfee's show. Then, a little while later, you start to hear, oh, wait a minute. No, this is indeed not a done deal. By the way, you can see in the graphic there, they had already done the Photoshop jersey swaps of Milton Williams in the Panthers uniforms. And he was the number 1 defensive tackle on a lot of teams' boards, and clearly the number 1 for the Panthers, only to have him pulled away from us at the last moment from the New England Patriots, who, let's be frank, had much deeper coffers to pull from than the Carolina Panthers. But Milton Williams was pulled away from the Panthers, going to New England. Chat, how did you feel about that? And CK, what were your thoughts on being fleeced by a team with Mike Vrabel as their head coach?
I think when you have a Vrabel at the helm, I think that's going to help a lot, no matter what the rest of the team looks like. Whether you think that they have a vision moving forward, I think that helps. I think the money obviously helps. And also, by the way, saying the reporters jumped the gun, I don't think that's the case at all. I think these guys are fed information. And I think that what was put out there for a reason. And, I think there's a chance that some of this took place to try to drive more offers in to let people know he's about to sign somewhere else. If you want to have an opportunity, you throw in that money. And unfortunately, the Panthers, just couldn't get this one done. I don't hate that the fact we didn't get him. It sucks because we did get excited for a moment. But at the same time, when you look at what his guaranteed money was and what we were able to get, we were able to basically play Moneyball. Right, we got a lot more positions that we were able to fill, as opposed to just basically wasting every dime we had on one player on that defensive line. That's not going to be the difference maker for the most part. Just because of the reality of how many empty, how bad our depth was rather on this defense. So, I think Mike K had a really good take on all of that. That we can pull up on Twitter if you want, but. I don't feel like the Panthers looked fleeced at all. I just think the Patriots looked more desperate.
So, by the way, a little bit of reference here. Milton Williams is now the highest paid Patriot ever. Like ever. So, by the way, if we would have matched that, we probably would have had to have gone to 27 to go above the Patriots. I don't know how many of y'all watch Shark Tank, but sometimes you make an offer just to drive up the offer for someone else. And I felt like that's kind of what that would have been in that scenario. But also, he would have been higher paid than Derek Brown. He would have been higher paid than Jaycee Horn, who we just paid. You're talking about making him, one of, if not the highest paid player on our entire team. And a lot of Panther fans were really upset that we didn't bust it wide open and throw the pocketbook to Milton Williams to give him whatever he wanted. And I'm like, listen, dude, a lot of y'all have no idea how this works, man. You have a certain dollar amount that you're willing to go to. And if it exceeds that, you have to worry about filling out the rest of your roster and having option B and C and so on and so forth. As you're going to see, they ultimately did have other options that they executed upon at defensive tackle. But I'm happy that Dan Morgan exercised judgment and didn't try to get into a bidding war with the team that has much deeper pockets than the Carolina.
Much. Their free cap space starting out free agency was absolutely ridiculous.
And right now they're still at the most money available to spend.
I know. And keep in mind, here's the other part of it. I'm not saying that he wouldn't have been a great fit, but he's getting paid that because of a game in the Super Bowl that he had. Right? That's why he's getting paid that money, is the way he looked in that Super Bowl. I'm not saying he's not a good player, and but he, somebody in the chat was talking about it, right? He did not play a lot of snaps last year, and he didn't have a lot of production while playing with some incredible defensive linemen from the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think that this is a bad thing that we didn't get him. I'm not saying he's not going to be an asset for the Patriots, but I can tell you, I believe that $26 million was an overpay. I think it was absolutely an overpay. Just because I don't think I'd watched, think about when you're talking about our offensive line, right? This dude, when we faced them, did you remember hearing this dude's name at all?
No. To be honest, I really didn't know.
Is he an Aaron Donald? Is he a Chris Jones?
And it's the nose tackle, so he's not really.
That's the thing, is that while we recognize the importance of the middle and the pressure up the middle, it's like paying a guard more than a left tackle.
Yeah,
and I mean, look again, these are players that are resetting the market. You got to pay to play, but sometimes missing out on something doesn't mean that you really missed out.
Yeah, no, I'm with it. Like I said, I'm in agreement. I'm happy that we didn't decide to just give them everything that they wanted. I think that would have been a terrible move for us. But all right, boys, let's move forward. So, by the way, all of these are in chronological order. So these all happened in the order that everything happened yesterday, right? So Trevon Moehrig, the former safety for the Las Vegas Raiders, is coming to Carolina. I remember this guy coming out of college. I liked him a lot. I felt like he had potential to play free safety and strong safety. With the Raiders, he has been an absolute boon in the run defense. He's been really good at that. Last year, he played his best season. He had 2 interceptions and 10 passes deflected. He signed a 3-year, $51 million contract. I really like this. I think this is definitely a position of need for the Panthers. We had almost no safeties on the roster. I still think that maybe they might like to try to sign another one to be able to pair with Mooring. But so far, I really like this move. Trevon Mooring, Tony, CK, chat. What do y'all think?
I think this is that what we saw is a concerted effort to get stronger up the middle and to get better against the run. And you got a player here that had 105 tackles last year who has played better. He can play all over the place to a certain degree, like not all over, but he's played deeper back as a deeper safety, not a free safety necessarily. But what you did is you went and got a strong safety. You didn't have any safeties. You had 0 safeties. You got a strong safety. You know what you want him to do. You want him to play in the box. There you go. We got it.
I mean, yeah, that's literally what he does. I have a clip of him versus the Kansas City Chiefs, and you really see what he does well and how he has a nose for the ball. He's able to disengage offensive linemen too. Yeah, this dude, if you have a problem stopping the run, they're saying that this is a safety that you want. Trevor Moore, big, strong, fast, and aggressive. A 3-year deal too. So now this guy is going to be a part of the defense that we're building for the future.
Yeah, I think a couple of the things I've seen is his ability to time the blitz is actually very impressive. And just disguising the blitz and just being able to kind of catch them off guard. I think I've seen that. And so one of the things that, people claim for Evero that he does really well is disguise his pressures. And if you have a guy like that can actually effectively execute those pressures when you need it, that's something that I feel like we haven't had since we lost Luvu, is having somebody who can just kind of sneak in there and get a sack in the most important moment of the game. So I think this is a great signing. We're not having to sit there and shell out this crazy amount of money, but we're going to be getting a good football player. And what most people are saying if you guys are privy to Twitter, most people agree. I think that what Dan Morgan's doing with these free agency signings is he's really freeing himself up to play the game at 8. And what I mean by that is either taking the best player available or not feeling like you're putting yourself at risk by trading back and getting some more draft capital, or even going after a player that is an established player and trading that 8 away. Maybe trading back and getting somebody else that might be a superstar to come to the Carolina Panthers.
I would love it. That's my hope right now, is that we're going to try and slide back and pick up some more draft capital. Dude, and the fact that we've never had more or multiple first-round picks, if we could make that happen next year, dude, that would be awesome. By the way, some more stats on Trevor Mooring from this past season. 41 tackles, 41 tackles, 7 pass deflections. Oh, this is 23, not 24. My bad. Yeah, dude, the dude's a baller, man. He's gotten better every single year. And, dude, I really do like what he has the potential to be in our defense. Way better than Xavier Woods. Let's say that. Boys, let's chug right along here. The next domino to fall for the Carolina Panthers. Now, we didn't get our nose tackle in the form of Milton Williams to pair with Derek Brown, but we did go and get one Bobby Brown to fill in right next to our man Derek Brown. It's a 3-year, $21 million deal that can go to $27 million, including incentives. The dude's a beast, man. He's super strong. Chat, Tony, CK, what do y'all think about him while I pull up some clips of what he does well?
It's Dan Morgan's prerogative. Bobby Brown. Who doesn't like Bobby Brown? I guess. Wait, who was it that Did Bobby Brown get in the domestic violence thing back in the day? I can't remember.
Yep.
I bet she didn't like him. To be honest, you could have paid 25. He's a good run stuffing tackle that believes he can be better. And Sean McVay said that he is open to hard coaching. He responds well to it. And it was a Shula guy, one of the Shulas, I think, or somebody like this. He's a defensive coach out there, says he's a smarter player than he, I guess, expected, in a sense, from a tackle. I don't know. That might be kind of some shade and a compliment all at the same time. He's also got a chip on his shoulder because he doesn't like to be thought of as just a run stuffing tackle. The Panthers can't get every premium player out there. And what they might have gotten is a good player that for a reasonable price. And this is what they need. I'm happy with this.
Yeah, you see him here too. Very physical. He has great hand placement. He shoots his hands to the center of the chest of the opposing offensive lineman. He has great leverage. And you see just how powerful this man is. Imagine what kind of damage he could do next to Derek Brown in this system. I mean, this is you're talking about some real beef in the middle of that D line.
Yep.
Again, I know we mentioned this man a lot. It harkens back to David Gettleman, who once upon a time said, "Big men allow you to win football games," and that's what this does, man. You know, harping on that, the Panthers had the worst run defense really in the NFL the past 3 years in a row. This is the type of player that you sign to really make a difference and try and change some of your ways in doing that. But I'm a fan of this. This might be one of my favorite signings. It's between him and the other defensive tackle that we're getting ready to preview here in just a second.
Yeah, I like this. And what that tells me is a couple of things. What we're starting to see is a real concerted effort to get bigger on offensive lines, mainly because of plays such as the tush push and things like that. When you look at what the Eagles have been able to do, it has a lot to do with the size and strength of their offensive line. And one of the best ways you can combat that is having an equal, if not bigger, stronger defensive line. So I think this is going to be an answer to that from a run stuffing perspective, but also just from the ability to be able to, get some interior pressure and maybe get these quarterbacks off their spot and give these edge rushers maybe an opportunity to get home a little bit easier by forcing these quarterbacks into a scrambling situation. Anyway,
how about he's better than Shai Tuttle?
Yeah, that's the hope, man. I mean, we're hoping that we're seeing a lot of these upgrades that are necessary because we just cannot go another year of seeing what we saw the last 2 years. To be honest with you, like last year was so bad that it was hard to watch, that every single team could just run at will. And we got to keep in mind, we're talking about upgrades, right? We need to upgrade this defense. Well, just because we're having Derek Brown, we're going to see an upgrade, right? Adding a guy like Bobby Brown, we're going to see an upgrade. Adding Moerig to the back end, we're going to see an upgrade just from what we've seen in the past 2 or 3 years. And then, we get into some of these other things. And mind you, we still have the number 8 overall pick here in the draft as well. So there's a lot of optimism about this defensive line. If all is going well, but right now I'm stoked with what I see, and I think this guy is going to be a great addition right there beside Derek Brown. That's going to be a really tough interior line, defensive line to try to penetrate.
Yeah. By the way, 145 viewers strong. We appreciate every single one of you. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. The C3 Panthers podcast takes no weeks off. We're going to be here year round, bringing you your favorite Carolina Panthers coverage. Hey, man, this is the best Panthers fan community on the internet. Everyone in the C3 Legion is so welcoming. Be a part of what we've got going on. If you love to talk Panthers football, then the C3 Panthers podcast is the pod for you. Tony, we're making good pace here.
Hold on. I want to take some calls, but I do want to remind everybody that the C3 Panthers podcast is brought to you by UnderdogFantasy.com or Underdog Fantasy. It's a great place to go play daily fantasy sports. It's basketball season. It's hockey season. My nephews are at the Carolina Hurricanes game right now. You guys can go onto Underdog Fantasy, pick your favorite players from basketball, football, MMA, and get things done. You can take your knowledge and take $1 and turn it into up to $1,000. Let me check this out. I'm going to pull up Underdog right now and see what they got going on that you can get your business done on. Right now, I'm opening it up. Let's see. Oh, college basketball time, folks. You can do add a pack. They'll have a pack of picks already packaged for you that are popular. Alex Ovechkin, 3.5 shots. Better go higher. He's chasing the most points or goals of all time. I think it's points. Philip Forsberg, also a legacy player. A lot of hockey up here right now. You can go up there to Underdog Fantasy. I'm going to Underdog Fantasy. I'm going more than on Alex Ovechkin. When you get to Underdog Fantasy, if you're a first-time player, you can use the promo code C3P and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. That's up to $1,000 in bonus cash. I do have to pull up the legal details here.
I have it right here. You want me
to?
I had it. Yeah, it must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-New York or text HOPE NY. Thank you to Underdog Fantasy for being our favorite place for daily fantasy sports. Tony, you want to jump into some calls?
You know we do. This show is made better. Hey, we have fun up here. But the most fun we have is when we hear your thoughts, your opinions on the C3 Panthers podcast. You can call into the show at 252-228-5098. Let's hear some cat calls, Cody.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
C3 Panther Nation. What up, y'all? Hey, this is Preston from Newton now, but this is
What's up, Preston?
I gotta say, today, March the 10th, I'm pretty damn excited. I'm looking at the contract we gave to Jaycee Horn. Well-deserved contract. I think he's an elite corner and can get even better. And now I'm looking at this Trayvon Moehrig, the safety from, Las Vegas, even though, the Raiders wasn't that good. I'm watching Unnecessary Bluntness Sports, by the way. Shout out to Aaron Duncan. I love his channel too. Like and subscribe to C3 Panther Nation, but like and subscribe to Unnecessary Bluntness Sports too, man. They do it big over there. I like Aaron's breakdowns of these players, but man, this Trayvon Moehrig guy, I'm looking at him. We definitely need safety help. This guy is looking like a monster. So I'm excited to see what happens, man. I'm excited to see who else we go after. I'm still hoping and praying for what's my boy's name? Hassan Reddick.
Oh, he signed with the Bucks yesterday.
Pause. But I want us to pick that guy up. But yeah, man, let's see what else is happening. Let's see what else goes on. I got my ear to the streets real hard over this free agency period. So that's all I got, man. Keep pounding. Let's see what we do in the draft, and let's see what happens over this next few weeks.
Yeah.
But hey, y'all, keep pounding, baby. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Appreciate the call. One thing that we'll do, we'll take another call, but I want you guys to think about this is as we positioned ourselves in free agency, Cody, you brought up something maybe 2 weeks ago on the show or just last week, is that it felt like it had to be defense. But now as the Carolina Panthers position themselves in free agency, maybe they can broaden their reach in those early rounds beyond just the defense and help to pad the offense for the long term. Think about that. Let's take another call.
Yeah, especially if things continue to go the way they are. Offense might be the move at pick 8. He comes back for another one.
C3 Panther Nation. It's your boy Preston again. Man, I was just calling to see who you guys really think as far as, everybody we've re-signed, who you think has the most impact or on the team. And to me, I love the Tommy Tremble re-signing. I love that. I've always liked him at Notre Dame. I've always loved his game. He tries to hurdle fools out of nowhere for no reason.
Yeah, he does.
It seems like he loves that damn hurdle. But he's pressing the Y button all the time. But he's a hell of a player, man, and a hell of a motor. And, I mean, he's physical as hell. I like Tommy Tremble. I like that re-signing. I think him and Bryce have a good rapport. And again, man, who, as far as the re-signings, the guys coming back, who you guys, I guess the most happy to see come back? And also, who else would you want to see us add as far as the draft and, free agency goes? Who else would you love to see us draft or add to the squad? But that's all I had, man. Preston from Hickory, Newton. I keep forgetting I moved. But keep pounding, David. Keep pounding.
Preston from Newton. Keep pounding. Go ahead, CK.
I was going to say, Cody, this could be a great segue. It may not be next on the list of things we want to talk about, but I think it might be a lot of people's. I don't know if it's our favorite re-signing, but it's certainly one of the more unexpected re-signings, and that is Brady Christensen.
Oh, you want to do that? Yeah.
His question was, what's the most exciting re-signing that you see from, these free agents or, the people that were gone from the team that we brought back? And I honestly think I don't know. Again, I would almost say Mike Jackson might be the most exciting for me that he came back to the Panthers, just because, I do think that, another year next to Jaycee Horn could be very helpful, and we might see a nice jump in the secondary, especially with some safeties that could be contributing as well. But this one's surprising because I did think that this dude was going to get a lot of looks on the outside, and it just seems like maybe that's not the case based on the numbers we were able to bring it back with.
So my favorite players coming back, baby. Let's go. Look, I have been the biggest Brady Christensen defender for such a long time, and I'm just happy to have him back, dude. I think that he's a jack of all trades. He's a real Swiss Army knife at just about every position on the offensive line. I feel like maybe he just didn't have enough film out there for another team to warrant making him a starter at any one position. I feel like he's entrenched into our culture at this point. And knowing the amount of depth that we have had in the past, think how much that helped us last year. Like, we're going to talk about all three of these dudes, Corbett and Cade Mays, but between those three, they both equaled out to be very good centers when their names were called upon. And I'm a firm believer that Brady Christensen has every ability to play left tackle if given the opportunity to do so. But just having him on this team, to answer Preston, this is probably my favorite of all the guys that we're bringing back to Carolina. Yeah, probably my man Brady Christensen.
Can I tell you what's interesting about this is, to me, is right now, this is Icky, not his last year, because we have this year and we have the right to exercise his 5th-year option. as well. And I think we have to choose to do that by the end of this year, right? Or before the new league year. Isn't that a decision we have to figure out before this year starts?
For Christensen?
No,
for
Ike Ekwonu.
Oh, for Ekwonu, we drafted
it be before next year, right?
I think we have to. I think we have to because he just.
Oh
did
yeah,
his
you're
third
right
year.
because we did it for Jaycee Horn.
Yeah, we did it last year to have this year be his fifth-year option, and so
he would have been on the fifth-year option this year, right?
Yeah, he would have been on the fifth-year option this year.
I think you're right.
And so we have to make a decision on Icky.
I don't think they're
before
going to
this
do
year.
it, CK.
I don't think so either. And I think what this is to me is I could see us really allowing for a competition between Christensen and Ike Ekwonu at that left tackle position. Not saying that Icky didn't come in and play decent last year. I just think that they're willing to let this competition play out. And I think the Brady Christensen signing is less a matter, like, not that they think that Brady Christensen is going to be a franchise left tackle, but maybe they just don't have as much faith in Ike Ekwonu being the guy on that end as well. Not saying that's the case, but I could see this being like a trickle down effect that takes place in this coming, remainder of this offseason, especially if we don't see Brady do that fifth-year option for Ike.
Just so we're clear, that is this year and next, right?
Yeah, this year will be his fourth year, and then fifth year will be
but CK's saying we have to exercise it like in
before this year,
like August or something like that, or like whatever the league, whatever the year, probably around that 53 roster man time, right? That you say we're going to put the fifth-year option on you, or we're going to let you go into free after this year. It's kind of interesting. I guess this would be, I want to take another call before we get to this, but did we sign 3 centers today?
Yes. yes. And I love it, dude. They all have a history with us. They've all done exceptional. But yeah, dude, that's, we basically do have all 3 of our centers that we played last year returning this year. And we'll go a little bit deeper into each and every one of them. We don't want to bury the lead too much. But let's get back into some of these calls.
What's up, y'all? It's Lucas from Far City.
What up, Luke?
What a day for Panther fans. What a day. I'll start off real quick about the Milton Williams situation. I think most fans are upset because fans like me, for instance, I get on Facebook and I see David Newton post that the Panthers are finalizing a deal with the guy, and then 5 minutes later, the dang Patriots are signing the dude. So I just feel like this is just a perfect example why we're a poverty franchise, man. We can't get deals done when people like the Patriots or the Steelers or the Cowboys or the 49ers get involved. We just back down to them. But the main reason I wanted to call in was us extending Jaycee Horn. Jaycee Horn had us by the balls. I know a lot of people are excited about us extending him, but at the end of the day, he didn't deserve it. Jaycee Horn has been injured 90% of the time he's been with the Panthers. I know last year he had a good year. He had a Pro Bowl year. Congratulations, JC. And I'm a Clemson fan. I give JC and all the Gamecocks on the team a hard time. But I'm putting all that aside for right now. JC didn't deserve that contract because he hasn't played a lot of football for us. He played one good year last year, but he has us by the balls because last year we had the worst defense ever, and we had no other choice but to sign this dude. I'm hoping that now that we signed him to 4 years or however many years we signed this dude to, that he actually plays football for us, because I'm scared to death that game 2, I'm not going to even say it because I don't want to.
We're going to call back this moment.
Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about.
I hear you, Luke.
This is why I think we're a poverty franchise. We sign players like Jaycee Horn to make them the highest paid corners in the league, injury prone players, and then we bow down to teams like the Patriots. Keep pounding, go Panthers.
Look, the caller's not wrong. The caller's not wrong. Is that did Jaycee Horn's performance deserve to be the highest paid corner in the league? No, it didn't. He hasn't played. He hasn't been available. It's been his unavailability that's been the problem. His play's been good, but it hasn't been perfect. We've seen moments, and now we don't know if they're complete defensive breakdowns. You saw Jaycee Horn and the safeties like looking at each other like they're confused in different things. But it's not like you walked out there and this dude has been the best player on the field every moment. But he has been a very good player. The Panthers did invest a ton in him when it came to draft capital. They had absolutely nothing on defense, right? And this is the nature of the game. Sadly, I'm going to hopefully be buying a new house here soon. And I'm going to be buying a house that was significantly less money than the house that I used to live in. But guess what? Interest rates are higher. They just are. And yes, look, the Panthers did they look, were they like, and I wish I could remember the words he exactly said, but like, this is what happens when you don't have a good defense. If you had a great defense and Jaycee Horn came up for a contract and you had these questions, then guess what? You can say, look, we're not ready to do it. We'll play you on the 5th-year option. We'll let you see this. The Panthers didn't have that luxury. They need Jaycee Horn. They need him to be healthy. They need him to be good. And are we quibbling? I always think of this. It's always weird to quibble over $2 million here and there. But you're also then saying, look, we should have made Milton the highest player on the team. Now, why quibble when you can cut Miles Sanders, save $5 million, and get the guy you want?
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Listen, he's going to have to do a lot of goodwill earning by staying healthy. He did it 1 year, but he's going to have to do it again. And that's the simple fact of the matter, man.
He needs to go and do what? Why can I've never been able to remember this dude's name. He played for the Patriots. He played for the Jets. He played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
You're talking about
Darrelle Revis.
Yes, Darrelle Revis. Why can't he's going to need to do that? Why don't we get Jaycee Horn needs to go out there and be the corner that CK wants, the follow him all around corner, the this and that. You know what I'm saying? And what Jaycee Horn needs to do is play so great that in 2.5 years he's sitting out. He's sitting out. He wants to be paid the highest paid player, and we're ready for it.
Yeah, ready for it. You want to take another one?
Yes, let's go.
Hey, it's your boy Juan, aka Sports Freak again. I was calling you about this first day of free agency we did with re-signing Mike Jackson, Jaycee Horn, to bring back some more cap money, and then the 3 new players. I'm thinking, what are your thoughts? I'm just asking for your thoughts. If we were to get Cooper Kupp, that could be cut by the Rams, to come in, if we trust somebody that he and Alan Thielen can mentor together as sure snaps. And do y'all think we should trade for that Ken Christian from the Bengals, or should we wait and see who'll be available, like Colin, the safety, to combine the safety we got from the Raiders? Or who do you think the fans would think we should draft first? I just want to ask y'all that question, okay? And thank you for your time. Bye.
Keep pounding. Appreciate you, man. I started by mentioning Cooper Kupp. Apparently, the price for Cooper Kupp keeps on going lower and lower. We have yet to make any.
He's old.
Yeah, but it's also Cooper Kupp. Is he younger than Adam Thielen?
I don't know. Actually, they're probably the same age. I bet you he's not. You know what? I wouldn't doubt that they are the same age. Let me see. What do you think? Do you think he's older or younger than Adam Thielen?
Dude, there's no way Kupp is as old as Adam Thielen, dude. There's no way.
All right. CK,
now, he has been injured a little bit, and I think
you're right. He's only 31.
Yeah, I mean, it's not young for an NFL player, but he has been injured. But with the asking price so low, I also said this on the free-for-all when we did it. Like, beggars can't be choosers when it comes to someone like Joey Bosa, but he's going to the 49ers now. But if you can get a player like Bosa, even though he's older and had injuries, I think you should take him. It's the same thing here. It's for Cooper Kupp. If you had the opportunity to do it, why not? You're already starting to see the wide receiver.
But here's my question, like on that, like they're literally about to let him walk, and they signed Devontae Adams to a massive deal for what he's dealing.
I know,
with.
Isn't that insane?
Is that not the weirdest thing? The decision to come to is like you're talking about trading, getting rid of a younger wide receiver than Devontae Adams.
Who's been just as good over the last 5 years.
Who's been better than him over the past 3 years, in all honesty. Like, it just, when you look at Devontae Adams, he has not been a game changer. He's not been a game wrecker. He's yes, you can argue that he hasn't had great quarterback play, but, Cooper Kupp has been good pretty much year in and year out when he's not dealing with injury. And he's made some of the most spectacular plays that we've seen. Like, if you were to do a top 10 plays of the year, I guarantee you, I feel like Cooper Kupp would be on one of those every single year he's been healthy. Like,
I think we should.
By the way, just an amendment real quick. Joey Bosa went to the Buffalo Bills, not the 49ers. He was rumored to go to the 49ers, but go ahead.
I tell you this I think we should get Cooper Kupp because we would have the white boy receiver crew. And it's like that old white guy that can play basketball still. You know what I'm saying? And all the athletic too, but he got a good jump shot. He got a good, he can back in and do a little fadeaway. I tell you, CKA is not wrong on this, is that Cooper Kupp is not the dynamic fantasy football receiver that he was 3 years ago because that's been replaced by Puka Nacua, his little protege over there. But he's savvy. He's savvy. You know what these guys are? Is like Thielen, Cooper Kupp, they all are Ricky Proles.
Yeah, but hey, man, let me tell you, ain't nothing wrong with a Ricky Prohl.
I know.
Let me tell you, I would love a Ricky Prohl.
Can we do the double white boy with the country black guy?
Well, but here's the deal, though. Adam Thielen is here for another year, boys. Yeah. Eventually, it's not going to be double white boys. It's going to be a single white boy. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would do it, man, though. I know he's been hurt, and I hear a lot of people like D-Money saying that, too. I was saying.
Yes, he's never a 16-game guy, except for when he
But also, remember, we're talking about a Triple Crown winner.
Yeah. He's savvy, too. Like, when he came back from those injuries, he came back from the injuries with Rams. He came back a little bit earlier than they thought he was, and he got in there and did some business, bro. He is savvy, just like we're talking about Adam Thielen. Look, we saw Adam Thielen 2 years ago, guys, in training camp. Do you remember when he looked like he was running as hard as he could? And he was like,
he looked like he was running in slow mo. Yeah,
not
very fast.
Yeah, but they are. Sometimes it's not about all these guys. Look, how about this? You add Cooper Kupp. Are the Panthers better than they are today? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my mindset with all of it. Tony Dunn, let's play one more call. Then we'll save the rest for the latter half. Then we will finish out our presentation.
Yo, it's showtime, bro. It's Lou from Fort Myers, bro.
What up, Lou?
Man, it's been a minute since I called in, but listen. It's hard being a Panthers fan right now because I'm over here getting clowned because we're not making big splashes in free agency. I'm not stressing about it because I have full faith in Dan Morgan, and I really do believe this is one of the best, not one of the best, but a really good defensive line, draft class this year. And it's surprisingly we need edge rushers and defensive linemen. So I would say if it was me as GM, I would move back and pick up some more picks. It's hard. It's harder to bust, boom or bust. If you have the 8th pick, you're expecting a boom. But if you have a low 20 pick and then a high second round or some shit, if one of them busts, then it's okay. You have another boom. You know what I mean? Like, develop players, the more the merrier. You know what I mean? Get some depth. Finally, like, get some depth in our defense and finally have a good defense that could potentially stop the run. If you ask me, I like the dude for Marshall. I don't give a what he did, bruh. I don't care. I don't care
Mike
about
Green.
any of them rumors. They did the
I
same
like
thing
him
with
too, bro.
Randy Moss too. Like, bro, it's always some good players. Like when Michael Parsons did that hazing in Penn State and shit. Like, it's always good players that's always involved in some bad shit. Like, bruh,
We need some
they
bad
still a young-ass
boys.
adult, bro. They not even
Oh,
like
boy.
brain fully developed, bro. So fuck it. You gonna make mistakes in life, but like, you know what I mean? I don't think we gonna draft any of these dudes and they just end up going to jail like Henry Ruggs or some shit. But yeah, that's just me. That's my opinion. But
Well, the Henry Ruggs thing is not a character.
and
He
especially
just
free agency.
made the
Everybody's
worst
got us
decision.
like picking up a wide receiver. I was really expecting Devontae Adams to go to fucking here, but hey, or Garrett Wilson, but it looks like Garrett is staying too. So love y'all. Keep doing what y'all doing, bro. Luke from Fort Myers.
Lou from Fort Myers, appreciate you, bro. He's talking about Mike Green, who led FBS in sacks at 17.
But he's got the thing from high school.
Yeah, but
and
it's a thing from
college.
high school and college. He maintains his innocence. So again, these are all allegations. But yeah, dude, there's options in the draft.
Look, this is Anonymous L. This is a great comment right here. Jalen Carter car incident, which was it was a real thing, right? Like it was
a
thing. They were racing, somebody got hurt or killed, and I don't want like the Ruggs thing, by the way, too. I don't even know if Ruggs was necessarily a bad person. He just got a bunch of money, got a super fast car and raced it and crashed and it turned into a fire. Yeah. But it says, look, he dropped because of that incident. Now he's a top 5 D tackle. And nobody, you know what? Nobody cares. And this is the sad part about the reality of the world. But it is a reality. And that is we care. What is it? Virtue signal, right, Cody?
Virtue signaling. We're in the age of the virtue signal.
We virtue signal when it's in our interest, and we forget about shit when it's in our interest. And hey, look, I'm about rehabilitation, baby. I don't know, is you don't reward someone for bad behavior, like as in like, oh, they should climb the draft board.
Yeah.
But if you have these issues or whatever, accusations, whatever the right word is, terminology for it, that might put him on more P's and Q's and toes going into the league than a player who hasn't sometimes.
Yeah.
And now gets all the fun, attention, and love and money. And then they go out and do something stupid. I don't think you take somebody off entirely because of this.
And
but
it's
I
just
also
like,
and then think about that. What was that punter? The Arata.
oh, the Matariza. Yeah, they
Yeah.
said that he was convicted of.
Nope, he was
Yeah.
accused.
Yeah,
But
he
yeah,
was
that's what I'm
accused
saying. They're
and
accused.
then exonerated. And we want our defensive. Now, look, actually, I'm not going to say it because I will get canceled.
Dude, how about this? There's going to be a team that's going to take a chance on a player with a bad rep, and then it could turn to Tyreek Hill. Or it could turn to Micah Parsons, who Cheshire Cat donates a $5 love bomb, says, what are your thoughts about Micah Parsons' request for a trade out of the Cowboys? Could the Panthers be a target if true? One, it would be incredible to have him, but remember, you'd also have to be willing to make him the highest paid edge rusher in the NFL too.
No, you would have to make him the highest paid NFL player in history.
Oh my
god!
God.
On the defense,
Probably not more than what John. Yeah, on defense, the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL.
I
have
an ethical question. The guy's name is Mike Green, right?
Yes, from Marshall.
I have an ethical question for you guys. If the problems of character and issues, right, prevent him from being a top 10 pick, a top 25 pick, should those character issues also prevent him from being a pick at all. Is it any better to pick someone who has problems and concerns and issues in the 4th than the 1st? Are you not endorsing the behavior still? Are you not?
Yeah, you are. But if anything, you're saying, oh, not only am I willing to endorse it, I'll endorse it for a cheaper price. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
I mean, does that not tease out some ethical issues there?
Yeah, it does. But like I said, we already have people in our chat who are not with it. But I will say this, though. It's like every year there's a team. I'm not endorsing it one way or the other because I don't know the guy. All I know is that as a football player, he's exceptional. He might be the best edge rusher in this year's class. Some even have him even over Abdul Carter. So the dude is exceptional, but he is accused of some very terrible things.
Yeah. So here's the thing, and I don't want to accuse anybody of this, right? But I don't think that people falling has to do with them being concerned from an ethical standpoint. It's a matter of risk, right?
Okay,
so
that's a good point. That's a great point.
Their point isn't like, is it right to draft him this high or is it right to draft him this low? It's like, if we draft him high and he turns out that he is a bad person and he's not good for culture, he's not good for, maybe he gets in trouble with the law and he no longer plays for our team, like that's where they drop. I don't know that they care.
So it's less risk in the end. But what that does also, CK, is says that you don't really care.
That's what I'm saying. They don't. They don't.
Then you always have this too. You always have this too. The timing of the reports on Green makes some people think that teams are wanting them to fall. We do this every year. There's always like 2 or 3 players that go through this thing
that are stupid all of a sudden.
Yeah, but like, even remember,
stupid. They turn
also, do you remember when Joe Mixon straight up like punched a woman in the face before he was drafted?
That was on video, I think.
Yeah, no, which made it all the more crazier that you could see him do it. But
but nobody really. Well, I guess my point is this: is that if we're gonna care.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if these issues are issues, and they are, right, in reality, if you want to take a moral high ground, stick to it. Don't be like, oh, well, I'll take him in the 4th, but I won't take him in the 2nd.
Either take him where he's valued or don't take him at all.
Or he shouldn't be in the league at all.
No, I agree.
That. But a good point by D from Sanford, as he said, or it could be Greg Hardy, which Greg Hardy, by the way, was touted as a first-round draft pick, had some issues. I cannot remember exactly what happened, but character.
I don't remember either.
But yeah, I mean, this was even before you got this was like right when you're getting into it. Like nobody knew Greg, but the Panthers got what was gonna be a first-round pick in the 6th because of that. He turned out to be a great player, and then he had issues. I still have an unpopular position about Greg Hardy. I'm not going to air it here anymore. I've said it enough. But I think this is that I think CK brings a great point, is that this isn't about morality. It's about risk and reward. And if a player's falling and you have character concerns, it's about investing that high of a pick.
Yeah.
It's almost
the
like
best way to describe it.
It's like an injury.
Yeah. Like let's look at it from this perspective, right? You are getting ready to go to a foreclosure auction. Well, if you know anything about a foreclosure auction, you aren't able to actually go into the house to see what the inside of the house looks like, right? But everybody's heard like these really bad things about this house, but if any of those things are like false, like this house has the potential to be like $1 million house, right? And but you're hearing these things, and everybody's a little bit more timid.
The walls.
Yeah, there's like there's not much. So you have all these things that aren't really something you can verify, but there's still risk involved. Everybody knows about these things, and so that price is going to naturally go down, because if you invest $500,000 in this property and it turns out those things are true, and all of a sudden that property turns out to only be worth $100,000,
Right.
you're in the whole 400 grand, right? Whereas like the upside, if you were to pay lower on it, if you were to say, hey, listen, I'm going to take a risk and pay 100 grand on it, it has the upside for it to be a $1 million home. That could be a win. So yeah, I mean, it's none of these teams from a business perspective, they do not care about anything that has happened with these players from the morality standpoint. It only boils to whether it's going to help their club in the future. And if there's risk involved, they're going to absolutely approach that with a lot more caution, which is why you see a lot of these guys fall.
Yeah.
Excellent point.
Yeah, let's jump back into the show, boys. Still got more free agent signings to uncover. So how about this? The Panthers were not done adding to the trenches of the defensive line. The Panthers signed defensive lineman Tershawn Wharton to a 3-year, $54 million deal. Now, if any of you are saying, wait a minute, that name sounds a little bit familiar to me, why does it ring a bell? Well, that's because last year, Tershawn at Bank of America Stadium saved a fan from falling out of the stands.
Yo, touchdown! Oh, shit.
Oh!
Jesus Christ.
Go back to your seats. Everybody,
I remember this.
This kid just failed. Back to your seats.
Yeah, get him up.
Damn Chiefs fan think he can do whatever he wants. That's what that is a damn arrogant ass little chief, little spoiled brat leaning over the bar too much.
So Tershawn saving fans from stands, but also we have some clips of him here just to show you how frenetic of a pace this dude plays at. Dude, he is shot out of a cannon on almost every play. Watch the tenacity and the hand movement of Tershawn Williams in some of these clips. The dude is aggressive. He's fast. He's very active with his hands. Takes no plays off. Is just overall aggressive, man. He's able to stack and shed. He's really good in defending the run.
No,
the
they
dude
say
is
he's
just
not good at defending the run, Cody. That's what I read, which I don't know. But this is what you did, is you paired, and this is why we shouldn't be so sad about the Milton stuff or whatever. Is it Williams? What's his name?
Milton Williams.
Milton Williams, the Williams stuff. I feel like Milton's the last name. But you put a guy beside Derek Brown that can do it, right? Isn't that what he is? He's going to be an interior pass rusher.
But I think he's also going to be a rotational guy. Yeah, but he's more of.
We're going to get a star and a K1 now. We got Derek Brown, who is our star Latulele. And now we're going to get the K1.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I love it. I love it as a compliment to Bobby Brown. Go ahead,
dude. I was getting ready to say, I think if we, I don't know if you guys had the Mike K thing, but we're talking about, the additions that we're seeing here is going to allow for us to be able to have a run stopping defensive line and a pass rushing defensive line. And you're going to have different situations, and you're going to have players that can come in for those moments. And so I think that this is just one of those guys that you're going to bring in there in those obvious pass rushing downs. I'm not saying he's not going to be in there for other plays, but that's going to be one, like, they're going to scheme up getting some guys home with this guy in the defense. So we got, like Charlotte Sports One says in the chat, we got 3 rotational guys for the price of 1. And that's what this is. We've got an entire armory of these guys now that we can start to rotate around and really start to try to play some chess when we're talking about facing some of these teams. When you have Derek Brown and Bobby Brown in the middle over there, I think it's going to open these guys up too to be able to kind of get home.
Brown Town means Pound Town.
Yeah, pounding a baby. Love it. I love this signing, dude. This is one of my favorite signings. I think that him in tandem with Derek Brown and with Bobby Brown, dude, I think that's pretty cool, man. Also,
I really like this comment from Justin D. Young. He says, Dan knows we still have I don't like it. I didn't read it right. I thought it was saying this. So, Justin, I don't like your comment. I love you, though. But the idea is this, is I think the Panthers are doing what they need in free agency to give them latitude in the draft to pick players that are good, but don't. I think the worst thing you can do in the draft is pick a player and need him to be something right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is, you want him to be something. You want him to be great. You want to find somebody that's going to come in there and excel. But if you're dependent on a draft pick to make your team, not feeling it.
Yeah. There was also this funny little back and forth between some Panther fans and Mike K. So Chris Jones commented on Tershawn going to the Panthers. He says, "Damn, I'm so happy for Slime. Gonna miss little brother." And then Mike K replies to him. He says, "Origin of the nickname Slime." And he basically had to have somebody describe to him that it is indeed a slang term. And he's like, "I'm just a Jewish kid from New Jersey, so I appreciate the context." Someone put, "Mike, you're so white." There goes that dream. So again, already some fun between Mike K and Panther fans and Tershawn. But overall, I like the signing. CK, I think that when you look at the moves that we've made on defensive line, I like the overall direction that we're moving, and I think we're getting aggressive. Dude, like I said when I showed you those clips, I love the tenacity of this dude. The dude plays violent. I love that about him. The dude is just aggressive, and I love that for us. You know. Yeah.
I like that too, and I think that right now, just again, I haven't really been able to dive deep into these, but what I'm seeing, and again, we're only seeing highlights, and I think it's fair to acknowledge that, right? We haven't really had a chance to dive into everything these guys do. But from what from the outside looking in, from a very surface level observation, this is certainly an upgrade on this defensive line that couldn't seem to get pressure for the life of them last year, unless that situation was getting them down to a 3rd and 14, and then all of a sudden couldn't get pressure, and 3rd and 14s were like 100% for this defense to be able to allow them to convert. So I don't know whether it's going to work the way that I'm hoping it will, but right now I'm excited for what we're seeing, because all the concerns we had on this team, there were a lot of holes that we wanted to get figured out, and right now those holes have gotten a lot smaller. And I think before the end of the show, I think we need to give our one wish list of a player in free agency that's still available that we want, and then what position we should draft at 8 based on what we've seen so far.
Cool. Tony, any more thoughts on Tershawn?
I like complementary players, and this seems like a complementary player.
All right.
I think that, look, I guess my only comment about this is that Dan Morgan was a Pro Bowl defensive player on a team that came from nothing and ran to the Super Bowl. He's earned his stripes as a GM. He did not get handed to right away. He's a player who's played on the field on one of the fiercest effing defenses in the history of football. And then he went into the administrative side, and he didn't get gifted. He didn't get handed anything. He worked his way up. And you know what? And right now, in Dan, I trust. He saved his brain by retiring. And you know what? He knows football. And I think that all of this does. I think I just come back to your comment just a week ago, Cody, where I said, until we get more evidence, and I'm not saying like I was wrong, like I just said, until we get more evidence, we just have to think that the player is a defensive player. The Panthers had no players on defense. They added a bunch of players on defense. They need to do this. I think it gives them the latitude to pick a player that they love and like at 8, trade back, whatever they want to do. Is they don't have to be locked in and say, we need a corner at 8. We need a whatever at 8.
Yeah.
I think that he is doing things. I think this defense is going to be better than it was last year already.
No shopping hungry. Everything that you want is in the pantry. That's all you need, man. But listen, we weren't done. Dan Morgan said, no, we're going to double down on this defensive rebuild. He then went out and signed defensive end Patrick Jones to a 2-year, $20 million deal. He finished in a big way last season with Minnesota, had 7 sacks last year. I have some highlights from Patrick Jones with his time with Minnesota.
Don't worry, no one's going to love any defensive ends from Minnesota, although Jared Allen came in and helped this team on that Super Bowl run. Don't forget that. Wanham was good when he played last year. Don't forget that. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, dude, this is another complimentary piece. He's fast. He's aggressive. He has his best year last year. And look, especially seeing what Wanham and Clowney did down the stretch for us, I'm trusting, like you said, trusting Dan Morgan and his eye to evaluate talent to find guys. And
we
this
still have those guys, right?
And fast.
I know we have Wanham, right? But Clowney's still on the team, right?
I believe so. I'd have to look.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything about him being cut.
Clowney is still
on a 1 year. Like this defense was terrible, but with these additions right here, it's not only serviceable, it's decent on paper and could be good. Who knows?
I mean, I love the film. So far, he's fast, he's aggressive, he's strong. I like what I see of him. CK, you have any?
I mean, again, yeah, just complimentary. I don't think that right now, I don't see like a game wrecker, but I do see a guy who can show up situationally. And again, I think these are incremental changes, and I still go back to my statement earlier. I think this is going to give us the ability to alternate our defensive line on a frequent basis so that we can keep these guys fresh all game long. So if there is if we're starting to see these guys run on us, run down our throats every single play,
you put in Bobby Brown.
We can switch the defensive line, let the guys who are getting a little tired have a break and switch them out. I'm not saying that this is going to be a franchise
top 5
guy,
defense, a top 10 defense. No,
right.
But we were a bottom defense. CK, we were the worst defense in the history of football.
And these are, we have to start somewhere, and like we legitimately cannot expect a jump like we've seen other teams have. Like that's just illogical to assume that's going to happen. It's possible that we see a jump like that, but we have to play the game as though we're just trying to get better tomorrow, right?
But if we had think about this, CK, if we had just say like, and I can't say top 15. I hate to say top 15 because that makes it sound like you're good or bad. But say you had the 15th overall offense and the 15th overall defense in the league, you can win the NFC South right away.
You're absolutely. And in this league, making it to the playoffs is, really anybody can take it. We've seen it happen in years past with good teams that maybe weren't great, still found a way to get to the Super Bowl and win it. So,
and for anybody who is, and look, I welcome all opinions. What is our saying, Cody? You can fan how you want to fan, right? Like,
We
so
do
if
not
you're
tell
upset about
people
this
how
and you
to be
think,
a fan. That's right.
yeah, I mean, and I'm here with you. Fan how you want to fan. I mean, if you're upset about missing on the Milton Williams guy, then be upset about it. That's fine. The idea that I just have is this: we just bought a defense. We bought a defense. We didn't build a defense. We bought a defense, and it might not be long-term sustainable, but it is better than it was last year. And if we went back and we pulled the tape on all of our podcasts for the last 4 years, and we talked about the defensive players that were added, and you found a reason to be excited, sad, or whatever, you would not be less excited or more sad than these additions today. I'm telling you, go back. I've been doing this podcast for 12 years now, whatever it is that this isn't something that I'm saying all of a sudden, the Panthers weren't going to be a top 10 or top 5 defense overnight. But you know what? You took a 32. You were 32, basically. You were not 32 just in the year. You're 32 in history. And you said this is you went and did it. You did it. Man, Dan Morgan, in Dan I trust.
I mean, I'm at a place where I don't I don't expect too much. You know what I mean? Like I like
but guess what?
I like what I'm seeing, but I'm not expecting them to come out and burn things to the ground. You know, like now.
No, but guess what? You don't have to expect too much, Cody. If when I go to McDonald's, I don't expect the best burger of my life. I don't eat McDonald's right now because I'm trying to be fit.
But hold on, Tony. We may have went to McDonald's, but we bought everything off the menu. And I have a tweet. We did. I have a tweet later to show you how much money we have spent on this historically bad defense just in the past few days.
We went to McDonald's and gave them Chipotle ingredients. That's what we did. And don't act like Chipotle is fine dining, right? We went to McDonald's and we said, you know what? We don't like what we got at McDonald's. Here, make McDonald's better. Here's Chipotle ingredients. No, this is good. There is nothing bad about this offseason. And if you want to tell me it's bad, then go and pick any of the last 6 off seasons and tell me why they were better.
Oh, I hear you. To me, I'm just waiting to see. I like the signings. I really like what they've done, but we're gonna have to see what it all amounts to.
You were 30. You were the worst in football history, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. They had to do something.
There's only way
they made the moves to do it.
Of the pool, bro.
The Panthers had to go out and revamp their defensive roster from top to bottom.
Yes,
and if you look at it, every year that Dan Morgan, it's only a year or two, but anytime that Dan has had a very clear-cut objective, he so far has executed that fairly flawlessly when you account for everything that he's had available to him and salary cap dollars and just roster availability. He's done a pretty good job when his eyes are set on a prize.
It might not be flawless, but it was necessary.
For sure.
What else could you do here? What else could you do? And I continue to come back to this, is that when Matt Rule was hired as the coach of the Carolina Panthers, Rat Mule is what we called him.
Rat Mule.
We picked 8 players on defense in that draft.
Yeah.
And what did it get us? The worst defense. 5. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that this was radical surgery.
Yeah.
That's what this is that you came into the hospital. Yeah. Did you have diabetes? Did you have all of this? Should you exercise? Should we build this the right way? Should we get you? No, it's time for we got to get the tumor out, bro. We got to get the tumor out. This was radical surgery, and the Panthers had no choice. Imagine if the Panthers would have gone and signed T. Higgins and spent the money on that.
They could still theoretically.
Well, but imagine if you did this. Your first move in free agency is to address the offense, and then and you're like, hey, we don't even believe in our defensive coordinator. We give him spare parts. No, there was no choice but this. There were actually nobody. There was no one on. There was only one safety on the roster, and we don't even know his freaking name. It was that guy that played at the end of the season. He's kind of all right. It was like, but
who cares?
Yes, there was not a single freaking person.
But a part of that rebuild that we need to talk about next is someone that we all liked a lot. Mike Jackson coming back to the Carolina Panthers. Listen, this is another Dan Morgan guy that we literally shipped one of our late round linebackers to Seattle to get right before the start of the season and ended up being incredibly worth it. The Panthers are signing Mike Jackson to a 2-year contract worth $14.5 million. Back to Carolina. Tony, CK, C3 Legion in the chat. What do y'all think of Mike Jackson coming back? Are y'all happy about this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that he was a great number 2 cornerback. You know, are you going to be able to find some plays that maybe you would like to see him play differently? Absolutely. You're going to see that with Jaycee Horn with some of the penalties he had, you know, but I think ultimately this dude came in, and I think the overarching feeling when you watch the game is this dude was a positive influence on that secondary. And that's really weird to say, given that this defense was the worst in NFL history. But if we want to be real about it, it wasn't the secondary that was the problem. It was our defensive line.
Right. They just ran. They ran all over us. CK, I heard this. And one of the callers mentioned Dunk on Demand, Aaron, which is he's a great dude, great content. So you guys go support Dunk on Demand. And look, rising tide lifts all boats. We're one of those podcasts. We love that. We want everybody to do great. But Dunk, I saw this. I was watching or listening to one of his shorts or whatever, his podcast. I don't even remember what it was. He said that the Panthers gave up 6.8 yards. It was either 6. It was like 6 yards on first down on average. So they had 2 downs to get 4 yards. It was not. They were never in passing situations. Right. And so here is the thing is that the secondary and anybody could do whatever they wanted against them. And I know this might be an unpopular position, but I think that Mike Jackson was the best corner on the team last year. And that's fucked up. I mean, I know you could say, oh, well,
PFF had him rated as one of their higher corners.
I just know this. I'm not a technical guy. When I love to write, I'm a writer and a creator by heart, but I'm not a technician. I'm a creative person. I'm a concept person, right? So there are people that are far better at the syntax and the like the technicalities of writing, which I struggle and I work and I labor over. But I know this is I can't tell you exactly everything that a football player is doing, what the scheme is and this and that. But the eyeball test does work, folks. The eyeball test works. And I'm not trying to diss on Jaycee Horn. I celebrated his signing just a few minutes ago. But I remember plays that Mike Jackson made last year. I remember. I'm like they were impact plays at big times. Mike Jackson, my dude, I'm a man looking in the mirror. He. And I've been screaming for this. The Panthers needed to get him. They needed to get him and keep him. And this is awesome.
Is there anybody in the draft with the last name Prince?
We got like the 2 greatest musicians of all time.
I know. We got Bobby Brown. We got Mike Jackson, as Panther Gal points out. We need Prince. We need somebody with last name Presley.
And Justin D said we got Coke too. We partying all night.
And somebody said on Twitter, I don't know if it's a good thing to mix Bobby Brown with Coke.
No. Yeah.
I will be his bodyguard.
Yeah, sure. All right, moving on. We're keeping a good pace here. Miles Sanders, no longer a Carolina Panther. Apparently he was not willing to take a pay cut. They asked him to do so. He didn't want to. And why would you want to take a pay cut to lose in Carolina, right? But hey, man, he decided he didn't want to come back. We have released him, freeing up around $5 million in cap space. A lot of people saw this coming from a while back. However, now it does sort of leave a door open.
Yeah,
we know we have Chuba Hubbard, but we're probably not going to see our running back until I gotta forget his name. What's
Jonathan
Brooks?
Yeah.
Jonathan Brooks. We won't see him until 2026.
Don't worry about that.
Look, I'm already on Team Scatterbo. For those who know, they know it's bow time, baby. Scatterbo time. You already know.
Is that a second round?
That's the big white boy. Everybody
What round?
Marshawn Lynch. Probably, I don't know, anywhere between 3 and 5, 3, 4, 5, somewhere in
All
that.
right. Then we're fine with it. Justin
But the
D.
dude had
Young.
over 20 touchdowns, over 2,000 yards from a scrimmage last year. The dude's a monster, man. But this does open up a running back position. What do you all make of letting go of Miles and what comes next?
I want to highlight this. Justin D. Young dissed on your. Well, you duped me into a comment that I loved that I didn't love earlier, but he said, I saw it coming from miles away. You missed it, Cody. Well done. Well done.
I think that there's still plenty of running back free agents that we could use to fill that backup role. I'm not. It does open it up. I'm not keen on drafting another one. To be quite honest with you, I don't have if it's like 7, 6 somewhere, that's fine. Go ahead and do your thing. Get a guy in there, but there's too many guys who are actually tenured in this league. Even if it's after 3-4 years, I'd rather have a guy who knows a little bit more about what it takes to play in the NFL rather than taking a flyer on a guy in the 5th or 6th round. So there's just too many running backs out there that that could be a potential fit for a backup running back in this situation we have here with a great offensive line. Go from there. I there's somebody in the chat said something about AJ Dillon. I don't know if he's free agent. I think he did a really good job when he was backing up Aaron Jones. There's a lot of guys out there that are worth taking a flyer on, but I'm just not sure I'm willing to give draft capital for another one just based on the fact that we gave one up.
Dude, I don't even mind making Chuba the bell cow. I don't even give
I'm fine with it. Yeah.
He is the bell cow already. Go ahead and get that in your mind. You paid him. He runs hard. I am absolutely in support of CK here. Look, if you go and you draft a running back in the 4th or 5th, what you're hoping for is a guy that can learn, that can come in. It's not a guy that's going to make a difference. It really isn't. And Cody, you have told us over and over that the running back position is a devalued position.
Yeah.
There are running backs out there who are in the league who can run the ball. Like you can hand it to them. They can run between the tackles. They can block a little. They've been in the league. No, are they going to be the next healthy Christian McCaffrey? Like there are guys out there, and this is the thing: is that the Panthers are smart here. I think in that it's a position that's cheap. It's a cheap position. It's like you have more running backs than there are running back positions, so you can just go back to the Colts or. I feel like, and the Colts, how many running backs have they had throughout the last 20 years where we can't even keep up with their names?
Yeah.
I feel the 49ers are the best example of that. Even before Christian McCaffrey, they've been churning out running backs left and right, putting up incredible numbers. And to me, it just proves the point that you can find good talent later in the draft and even as undrafted free agents. However, though, you're always going to be confronted with those big-time talents like an Ashton Jeanty.
That's different.
Ashton Jeanty
but
this
we're
year.
not going to get we're not drafting running back in the top 10, right? So we're not going to get a general. No. All right. Okay. If that
unless we do, I don't know.
Bullshit.
I mean,
no way. But you're not
Ashton Jeanty, Hunchat.
We're not drafting a running back in the top 10, and we're not allocating our free agent money to a running back. So what you're doing is you're going and getting a guy. I think actually this conversation tells us what's probably wrong with the Miles Sanders signing in the first place. Is Miles Sanders, and I think it was CK who was saying this when we signed him. He's coming from behind the best offensive line in the league. Miles Sanders is, and I'm not trying to take away from him. Like if I talked to him, I'd be like, "You're an athlete, bro. You fucking made the league. You're fucking the dog. You're a dog. You are this." But the Panthers basically, you could get Miles Sanders A team could get Miles Sanders now for the real Miles Sanders price. The Panthers paid we need to pay the discount Miles Sanders price, not the Miles Sanders price that we paid. The Panthers can go out there and find a running back who is comparable to a player like that for $5 million and hope for the best.
Yeah. I don't know, man, dude. There's I've been thinking about a lot of different players potentially
If you
available.
say you want to draft a running back in the first round, bro, I'm
Hey,
gonna
how about this?
computer and kill you because
right,
you have told us that a running back is not worth anything. CK,
but
please back me up on this.
How about
Has
a
he
running
not
back?
told us this for
Or how about a running back or a tight end? Let's take another call and see what the fans are talking about.
Hey, Cody, hey, CK. It's Chuck from Elizabeth City give you a call, a.k.a. Carolina Sports Guy.
What's up, Chuck?
I know everybody gets excited about the signings, the free agency. And, I've kind of grown to a point that I remember when we signed Morgan Fox. Remember, there's certain guys we signed, this is going to be a game changer, and it only lasted a year. Just like Miles Sanders, remember? But anyway, I do feel good about adding beef up front. I'm really excited. I just found out a few minutes ago that we're bringing back Brady Christensen. Now, to me, Tommy Tremble and Brady Christensen were two of the main guys, and Jaycee Horn, but those two guys, Christensen and bringing in, I just mentioned his name, my God, Tremble. Bringing those two back were two guys I really think that we can grow with those guys, that Tremble can get better. He's a decent tight end. Moving on from, I won't even say his name. You know what I'm talking about, Ian. But anyway, I just think Christensen, his ability to play center, left tackle, all over the line, the guy's a depth piece. Somebody's bound to get hurt. And I like this signing. I was afraid we were going to lose him. I'm not objective to bringing in another offensive lineman in the draft. I definitely know we have to have a running back now. And I think tight end, but it's not as pressing as it was to me. Now, receiver is something, but man, wide receivers to a point, there's some shakeup that's going to happen. Now, I really do feel this draft now. Mason Graham was sitting there defensive line, and as strong as we built this defensive line in free agency, you can't get too deep there. And Walker from Georgia, the edge. Anybody, if we can get a linebacker or a guy on the defensive line in the first round, to me it's a win-win. And we definitely got to come up with another safety. I think that's the hit spot in the second round. I just want to get your guys' thoughts on that and keep pounding.
Have the Panthers position themselves to take a linebacker, baby? Think about that. Think about that. Dan picking the man at 8. Maybe.
Maybe so, man.
I'm not opposed. Like I said, again, I think that this puts us in a very advantageous situation moving into the draft. I think that's if a linebacker is the way to go, I support it. I like the cool thing about this is like legitimately we are going into this draft with no idea what they would do at 8. Like no clue. Like they could do anything. They could go wide receiver. They could go
safety.
Defensive end.
Especially as of right now, we just have no idea.
They could go tight end. They
Ted
could go wide receiver.
wide
Do not go
receiver.
tight end. Do not go tight end.
I'm
You
just telling
say
you
that, but he's 100% in play.
dude. Did you see how Brock Bowers played last year?
That's what I'm saying. I tell that to Tony. Tony just refuses. But also knowing how important of a year this is for Bryce, CK, imagine how much of a boon that would be for Bryce to have an incredible tight end who can run block and catch passes like Tyler Warren. Come on, bro.
Like if we didn't shore up, our defense,
Brock Bowers, bullshit. I saw Brock Bowers in college.
He's rated higher. You haven't even seen this dude. You don't even know what he's done. Okay, just seen a couple clips.
Bro, the dude broke records like this year with nobody throwing the ball to him. Like who was throwing the ball to him, Tony?
I don't know.
Exactly.
That's
And the dude was still
point.
breaking records
I'm
as a
telling
tight
you
end.
this: rule number one, you don't pick a tight end in the top 15.
Let me tell you what, if you look at how we were able to run the ball last year, then you add Tyler Warren on top of it, bro, that might be the move, especially if Carolina doesn't make another big signing at the wide receiver position like a lot of fans really want us to do. If we don't do that, Tony, you better open up your mind to all the possibilities of what could be available at pick number 8.
Change it. You know what? The only thing that's going to change my mind is the Panthers drafting a tight end in the top 15 and him being the man. I'm sorry. Greg Olsen was drafted at like 12 or something like that. And he futtered, and then he came to the Panthers and was great. Sorry. I just don't think. I think it's like this is it's like drafting a running back in the top 10. You better be a piece away. I don't think that's where we should go, but hey, I hope it works. I hope you get Brock Bowers also. I don't like how you guys use, not you guys, but yeah.
It's an outlier. I agree.
Cody, is like you're using the most exceptional example at a position ever.
Well,
that's justify like doing it. Is I'm not talking about that Brock Bowers isn't but it's an anomaly.
But you're talking about, and I understand your perspective, right? You're looking at it from the idea that historically speaking, if you're looking at a first round draft pick tight end, in the top 15, they haven't been contributors, but at the same time, I also think it's worth, if there's a guy that you're excited about, that you feel like has that potential, like a Brock Bowers or any of these, a Kelsey or what have you, that's a part of our offense that we sincerely need. And we might be able to have that in Jatavius Sanders. We don't know yet. Tommy Tremble, we don't know enough.
Jatavius was great last year. Don't forget about him. Don't sleep on him. And let's not also, you can talk about Brock Bowers, but we can also talk about Kyle Pitts. Now, what I will say that the difference about this player than a Kyle Pitts is he looks like a tight end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Kyle Pitts was a wide receiver that you drafted.
Yes. This is a tight end in every way, shape,
run
and
block. Yeah, his run block, and he's just pancaking people. That's
look at him, dude.
I just don't think you should give up. Look, you invested a good bit of draft capital in Jatavius Sanders last year. He played.
Why not both? Why not both of them? Why not? You know how
I'm not
good
going to fall
it
in
is.
love with any player.
You know how good it is.
I'm not
to have
going to fall in love with any
those
player.
two tight end sets.
All right.
Also, look at All About Football. Like you said, what did Olsen and Shahi when we had those two tight end sets? That was badass and dynamic. You're going to tell me the price wouldn't benefit from that?
And to lend to you guys, because I'm not just that old of a curmudgeon, is Dave Canales, when he was in Tampa Bay, had these two, and I remember their names a year ago. Now I've already forgotten them because they wasted away in the offense, but they had some tight ends that were doing some business in that. So look, I mean, I just think this is that you draft him in this. This is my position. It's a philosophy. If I'm a GM, I'm going into the draft. I'm never taking a tight end in the top 15. There's only been one. Tell me one other.
Working, Tony. Imagine this big
Brock Bowers is the
imagine
only
this big bad motherfucker on the line, run blocking the football, moving pushes out the way.
You found a clip where he pushed the guy. Look, he pushed the fucking safety.
The other part of this.
This guy.
That's fine, Tony. Like we know we aren't changing your mind on that, and I'm not sitting here saying we draft him. I'm just expressing that right now we legitimately don't know what the Panthers would do at 8.
I think you're absolutely right, and I think that is, and CK, I do agree with you on that, and I think that is one of the great things that we should be celebrating about this free agency with Dan Morgan is that it liberates us. It liberates the Panthers to do
all of
that
these,
I would hate.
All of these no to Warren. Y'all have no imagination. No imagining. Look at this dude. Look at everything that he's doing on screen, and tell me this wouldn't be a weapon for
He's
the
not the best
Panthers,
available. All right.
Riz.
Chat.
Riz.
I need the chat to help me out here because we got to push through.
I can do a poll.
No. I don't want a poll. I want the chat to tell me a top 15 tight end other than Brock Bowers that's been the man.
A top 10 tight end?
No, a top 15 draft pick. I'm giving you 15. I'm not saying top 10 because we're picking at 8. I should do that. I could be an asshole and say, tell me a top 10. But don't worry. I remember being in love with O.J. Howard. I've already been lost.
O.J. Howard was no Tyler Warren, brother. I'm just saying.
No, he was. He was in college, bro. I'm telling you. Tell me.
Good. I don't know if he was Tyler Warren.
It's okay. It's okay for a tight end to be a very important piece of your offense. It's okay that this person could change the Panthers. I'm not arguing against that. I'm not arguing they can't be a great player. But I just want to know, when was the last top 15 tight end that changed the dynamic?
All right, you're judging men based off of what other men couldn't do. That's all.
What you know?
That's all I'm saying.
You do that with running backs all the time, Cody.
No, I'm saying from the position value though. To me, it's not the same for a tight end.
Is the same.
It's not the same for a tight end.
All right.
It isn't. That's just the right talent.
You're not going to change my mind. I'm not going to change.
I need
someone to tell me a top 50. And you know what? And if you give me anybody than Brock Bowers, I need somebody other than Brock. It's an anomaly. It's not true.
For the history of our podcast, I hope that he's drafted just so we can see you bum out on draft night. But then to watch you eventually get a jersey and the cycle is completely become full circle.
Yeah, you know who my favorite tight end in the league is? Is somebody you put me on to in our draft discussion.
Dallas Goedert, baby.
Yes, he's a badass, but guess where he won't take it? He won't take it in the top.
You know, he's a unicyclist. That was one of the first cat calls I ever made. I told y'all about his special abilities. Anyway, let's
Tony Gonzalez. So Tony Gonzalez, who was the greatest tight end in the history of football, and a murderer. Let's go.
Let's hear from our boy Anthony from Charlotte.
Yo, what's going on, T3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. Hope y'all boys are having a good Tuesday, man.
What's up, Ant?
Just working right now and thought I'd call in. Interesting first day yesterday of free agency. You know, we all know what happened. Lost out on the prized possession of this free agency year. Milton Williams obviously stinks. You know, I know there's an argument that, he got overpaid. He definitely did. The contract's ridiculous. And I get the argument, he played next to Jalen Carter and this and that. But I also feel like I could reverse the argument and say, well, he'd be playing next to Derek Brown, who is an elite player. But anyways, it's not that big of a deal, man. Ultimately, Dan hasn't made any splashes so far or anything, but he just got a bunch of guys that are gonna stop the run, and they're not splashy names. I think the best guy is the safety Morig. I don't know how you say it. He's gonna be good. He's good. Surprised we didn't get Javon Holland instead, but I mean, based on how Javon Holland's market was, it was a little weird. Turned out that Morig, I guess, may be viewed as the better player on the league. I mean, that's at least what Raiders fans are saying. So there's that. Trying to think. Yeah, overall, it's whatever. I mean, you know, Josh Norris from Underdog Fantasy Underdog Fantasy has mentioned this many times. And when you look at our defense last year, they were so bad in so many areas that if you just get to average in those areas, it makes a tremendous difference. And we all knew that you're not going to be able to fix the defense in one off season, but I do feel confident in the players more so than last year for the simple fact that I think we have a bunch of good guys, solid players to put around our 2-star players, Jaycee Horn and Derek Brown. So that's good. Evero, I don't really trust him, so I don't know. I'm just not really in tune of what the defense could be this year. Do I think they will be better? Yes, they will be better than last year. How much better is probably going to determine the success we have next year. And what else is going to determine the success is if we can get Bryce a real weapon. Because I'm looking at this depth chart, and these weapons are horrible. I'm sorry. The way we're doing Bryce Young right now, listen, I know it's way early. I think Dan's got something in his back pocket. We were close on DK Metcalf, but listen, man, I don't know. It's been all right. Give me your thoughts. Maybe I'm too negative. Let me know. Anthony from Charlotte. Peace.
Anthony from Charlotte. Appreciate you, bro. I'm going to pull up the depth chart while we play another call.
Vernon Davis in the chat. That is a good one. Good one. But think about that. That's 20 years ago.
All right, take another call.
Podcast brothers, how y'all doing? Y'all know who this is, G. Cavassier. Man, that free agency is crazy, isn't it? Man, I just found out, man, that we picked up the punter from Buffalo. So apparently our punter, Hecker, I read online, he signed a deal with the Tennessee Titans or whatever. He was a good punter.
Yep, so, Hecker's out of here.
But he's a decent punter. And I just found out we fucking signed fucking Brady Christensen. Hell yeah. The Iron Man, the dude that can play any position on the damn offensive line.
Swiss Army
I'm
knife.
happy for that shit. And with the picks that we got in free agency, I'm not fucking mad about this shit. Yeah, it's not the most sexiest picks, you know, because I really wanted Josh Sweat. I really wanted that motherfucker to come to Carolina, you know. And what pissed me off is Hassan Reddick signed with the damn Buccaneers. I wanted him so bad to come back to the Panthers. But one thing I noticed, man, you know, I see that we picked up Bobby Brown the third, and that right there is your damn nose tackle. And, you know, we picked up the other dude from Kansas City and the dude from Minnesota and everything like that. So defense is the damn key. Even though I'm surprised they didn't pick up no wide receivers or anything like that. But here's the daggone question before I let y'all go. Now that we picked up all these damn defensive tackles, man, we still gonna go for Mason Graham? I don't know, man. I want that motherfucking Carolina, but
I know
that's the defensive tackle, which is telling me should we get that tight end from damn Penn State, or I ain't really sold on that boy from
right
Arizona.
on time.
I'm really not, man. But what y'all think? If anything, y'all be willing
Great
to trade
minds
down?
think alike.
Give me your thoughts on that, y'all. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding. All right, listen, man. I think you said a mouthful there. We are loaded at defensive tackle. I will say, if we're able to get Mason Graham, it might be hard to pass up just because of how good that guy is. But, yeah, man, I don't know. That's
trade back opportunity. It's a trade
that's definitely
back
tough.
opportunity.
3 more.
CK, Tony Dunn, Cody Lack, the C3 Legion.
What's
what
up, brother?
Guys, it's the Hope Dealer checking in real quick. Hey, I'm super excited, man. We got Michael Jackson and Bobby Brown on the same team. How about free agency so far, baby? Hey, let Dan cook. Let him cook, baby. Defense is cooking up right now, man. I love it. Hey, look, I'm going to try my best to get all this in on one call. I'm going to try my best. But, now, for real, y'all, I'm really excited, man. You know, re-signing Jaycee Horn, I think that was big. I know some people didn't like the money that we gave to JC, but look, you got to look at it like this, Legion. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got a Pro Bowl player, right? He's an emerging talent. He's a leader in the locker room. You know, he wants to be here. You know what I'm saying? And we paid JC not necessarily based on just what he's done, right? Because we know he had the injuries. But we're paying JC you pay your top level talent for what they're gonna do, what you're expecting them to do, right? And I'm just glad that Dan Morgan and Brant Tillis had enough sense not to replay the Brian Burns situation, like not to let it go that far to where we lost a good player, but pay the man, pay him, let's bring him back. But hey, it's the Hope Dealer. Yeah, I definitely got a second call. I'm gonna hit y'all back up. All right, keep pounding.
Keep pounding. Let's go right back to him.
Hey boys, it's the Hope Dealer. Second call, real quick. Hey, but yeah, I did want to touch on one other thing, man. Milton Williams. Look, I know that everybody was upset that we didn't ink that deal, but here's the thing, y'all. You got to look at it from this perspective. The Patriots, man, they have so much more cap space than everybody. This is a business decision. I applaud Dan Morgan and Brent Tillis for going out there and at least putting the best forth, the best effort out there, the best foot forward to try to get a talent like that. But at the end of the day, you know what? We got some run stoppers, y'all. When you look at the players that they've picked up so far, we got some run stoppers. That's the big thing. Last year we gave up 3,056 rushing yards. We might not be able to do everything in one off season, so we gotta manage our expectations sometimes as far as what all we can do. But man, when you think about the overall trajectory of what Dan Morgan, man, and Brent Tillis are doing, y'all, this is huge, man. These defensive signings are huge, run stoppers. So I'm looking forward to the draft, man. Also looking forward to continue to see how free agency gonna play out. You know what I'm saying? But hey, this the Hope Dealer, man. Hey, it's past daylight savings, baby. The days are getting longer. We got some defensive talent. Man, we got the draft coming up. Everybody out there, stay hopeful, baby. Keep pounding.
Hope
Dealer, I'm out.
Hope Dealer. Love that dude, man.
Let's hit that last call.
Let's do it.
Yo, my C3 family. D, Tampa, North Carolina.
Close the show with some optimism.
D Money. Shout out to the great Tony Dunn, the homie Cody Lack, CK, Cold Dizzle. Shut the hell up, Panther Pickle. My man Cole, time's gonna get better, baby. And to my brother from a whole nother Mother D'sville Skills, I hope everybody is having such a beautiful Tuesday. Now, let me go on and just jump into it real quick. All right, everybody yelling that we got a lot of mid this and we got a lot of mid that, and everybody's a little disappointed that we didn't get Big Milton or we didn't go get Big DK and so forth. Hey, look, man, we laid bricks already. Now we adding the frames. We're getting everything lined up. We're building this thing, man. There was nothing wrong with not one signing. We got that big old boy sitting there in the middle. We got edge. We got defensive line help. Anything can help at this point. And until we win more games, and we're on the cusp of doing it, we still got to get guys that are fighting. And I believe we went and got dogs. I believe we got all types of dogs. I believe we got pit bulls. I believe we got Rottweilers. I believe we got all cane corsos, and we just don't know it yet. It's time. And then look, Brady Christensen, he came back for a yoo-hoo, some sugar wafers, and a box of condoms. That's a beautiful thing, people. We're retaining talent. We're getting better. We're going to have continuity. And if you ain't with us now, you ain't welcome to the parade.
Keep pounding. Tony, we got another call right at the very end.
Perfect.
I'm going to upload. We got our man JD calling in to the show. One moment.
The calls are smashing tonight, bro. While we're talking about that, smash the thumbs up button, subscribe, be a part of the C3 Panthers podcast community. You can be a C3 super fan for just $1.99 a month. A little bit goes a long way. We're trying to build a legion, a community. That's what it is. It's not just us three talking. It's y'all talking to us, or talking with us, should I say.
That's
we need your help. We need your help. Look about this, is that we've been slogging, Cody. We have been slogging for 13 years on the podcast, I think now. I got to go through the math. Started in 2013. Like, it's our 12th year, full year. Every week we're here. We brought the catcalls in, and the catcalls made this show the show. We need y'all folks. You are the show. Smash the thumbs up button, subscribe, call into the show. All those things are free, and they help just as much as people who are so generous and have given us super chats, who have become C3 super fans, or maybe even go buy a coffee mug or a t-shirt. Those things get us $1 or $2. Cost a lot. Inflation, this and that. We're not begging for your money. We're begging for your time. Your time. Because I know that is worth more than anything.
All right, let's play our final call of the night. Then we have a couple more slides and we're done.
Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready.
It's JD54. I'm in the chat.
What up, JD?
Justin D. Young now. That is my full government name. I wasn't joking about being related to Bryce. All that being said, it's been a little bit since I've been able to call in, give you guys my thoughts, or just the reason for me calling in at this specific moment. I wanted to give a shout out to Paul for the comment he made a little while ago, and I also wanted to give kudos to you guys, give you guys your flowers, if you will, because it's stuff like that that drew me to the podcast, and in particular, your guys' podcast specifically, because it's always something for me to learn, and it's been a rough last couple of months, and I'm starting to be able to get back into actually listening to these podcasts and see what's going on with the team and just kind of live life again. And I wanted to say thank you to you guys. I wanted to say thank you to Paul for the comment, because that's going to be something I chew on when things are slow. And like I said, that's one of the things that drew me to the podcast, C3 in particular, because there's always people here with things I clearly haven't thought about, or they have views on things that I haven't contemplated. And it gives me a means of, if nothing else, entertaining myself at times where it's slow or when life starts to whoop my ass. And I hope it's like that for everyone. Like I said, called in just to give you guys flowers. Appreciate what y'all do, because I know y'all been locked in even when I wasn't able to, like, just call in or link up on the Friday free-for-all. I know y'all still been getting after it. I know y'all been ears to the ground, hearing everything, reporting on all of it. Like I said, I just want to give you guys your flowers. Shout out to everybody,
Appreciate you, man.
Panther, fandom, nation, family. It's what we do. Sometimes shit gets real, and you got to apply that Panther model to your life. And like I said, you guys help with that shit. So keep pounding. Everybody.
Keep pounding. Love that, man. JD is a man.
He's been a member of the family for like 8 years, bro.
Yeah, dude, we love JD. He's the man. You're always JD to me, bro. You're JD in my heart. And listen, we got some super chats. Thank you to C-Dog 1983 with the $2. Dan Morgan is cooking. Keep pounding C3. Also, we got another love bomb from CEO, a Carolina Panthers pod. Y'all check him out. Keep reminding us to help. I forget sometimes. Hey, man, the rising tide lifts all boats. Panther content creators, support Panther content creators. Follow my man Kitty Lit Zio is doing great work over there. I know
we don't ask for it, right, Cody? But we appreciate it.
Yeah, we never ask. Look, this is for fun, man. We do this for fun. We hope you all have fun doing it. If you appreciate what we do and the fact that we literally don't take a week off. I do this 9 hours a week during the season and at least 6 during the off season. So we're committed to this. If you would like to help and like to support us, we definitely
2013. We started in 2013, October of 2013.
And
we have not missed a week.
And
we've moved the date a little bit. We've done it, and it's because it's a labor of love. We're conversating, and just like those, the Legion be out there keeping shit together all day long for us. Not for us, for them. We're just here to talk. We're fans that are just having fun, talking shit.
To Red Sun, if you're on iPhone, he wanted to know how to join. If you're on iPhone, it's sort of weird. You have to open up your iPhone, open up your YouTube in a different browser like Safari or Google Chrome, erase the M dot before the URL, And once you do, you should be able to go to our YouTube page and you should be able to see the join button. On Android, it should just show up. But I know that iPhone.
You know what that is? Is that Apple and Google be fighting? And
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Listen, we are done with the show except for a few more.
Let's power through. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. Let me bring this back up. So we talked about it a little bit earlier, but now we'll fully do it in depth. Hey, man, shout out to Justin.
JD.
You're the man, bro. 10 years, been rocking with y'all for all 10 years. Just realized it. I really do appreciate y'all, man. We appreciate you, man. You've been a big part of this community that we've built. And we hope to make a community that all Panther fans feel like they can be a legitimate part of. You know, so hey, we do this for y'all, man. We appreciate y'all. So moving on, man. Brady Christensen back with the team. We talked about this a little bit. So then also, like I said, all three of them are coming back. Austin Corbett is coming back on another 1-year deal, I do believe. And on top of that, the Panthers placed a tender on restricted free agent Cade Mays, an original round tender, 6th round, is worth $3.26 million. He started 8 games for Carolina last year, and I like this tweet from Michael Bell. He said, whether Cade Mays is starting or providing depth, securing the 13th highest graded center in football for $3.2 million, that is just good business. So Tony, CK, to everyone in the chat, between Christensen, Corbett, and Cade Mays, who do you feel is the odds-on favorite to be the starting center for the Panthers in 2025?
I think it's got to be Corbett. Personally,
I agree.
I think Corbett's going to get look in the. I do think they'll have a real competition, but I think Corbett will come out on top, and Cade Mays is going to serve there as a backup. I think he's earned that position based on how he came in and played last year. But yeah, Corbett, I think, is going to get a much longer look and maybe have a lot. You know, even if Cade Mays were to maybe see a glimmer of hope in the training camp, I think they're still going to go Corbett's way.
Corbett's the odds-on favorite if you want to look at it like this. He's also the odds-on favorite to not play the whole season, and the odds-on favorite for the most awesome picture ever is fucking Cade Mays in this. Crazy eyes right here. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, man. And I believe Tommy Tremble.
Hurdles. We talked about with this calls. The Panthers re-signed Tommy Tremble. Not the cheapest deal. Young.
I like Tommy Tremble.
Hurdles too much.
I like Tommy Tremble. Y'all said too much. I like that even as the balls to do it.
Stop.
I love that. I love it. Dude,
You're
listen, he hasn't had enough opportunities. If he got some more down the field balls, you're going to see him do it at better times. I like Tremble. I always have. I felt like he's sort of been a victim of his circumstances a little bit, Tony. A victim of the rotating door.
No, he's been exactly what he was.
No, he has not had the opportunity to really show the type of player that he is. He's better than Ian Thomas. He's not some bump on the log. This is somebody who has potential and who I genuinely believe has not played his best football. Like ERH Demek says, the dude is only 24 years old. So the dude still has a ton of potential. He's incredibly strong. He's very good in the run game. He's a good blocker. So I like this. I think this is a good move.
I agree.
I like Tommy Tremble. I like that we did it.
Here's the thing, Joe, about just my last comment about Tommy Tremble. Y'all got too hyped on Tommy Tremble coming out as a rookie. It doesn't make him a bad player. He's a good player. He could be good for the Panthers. But he was a second round.
He also went into a shit.
He's gonna be a difference maker. You know what? It takes time. Somebody said he's only 24. Think about that. Now the Panthers are getting a guy that can be a pro and grow into who he is and now we got a new punter.
Yeah, we have a brand new punter. So after we lost Johnny Hecker to the Tennessee Titans, former Bills punter Sam Martin is re-signing with the Panthers on a one-year deal up to $3 million. I have no idea about Buddy. I doubt y'all do either.
He's in his 30s, and he punts the ball, and he's not terrible according to the stats, and that's it.
So this is what I was alluding to earlier, Tony. This is from Steve Reed of Associated Press. He says, you can't say David Tepper isn't trying to win. The Panthers owner spent more than $260 million on Monday to upgrade the NFL's worst defense. $100 million to Jaycee Horn, $20 million to Patrick Jones, $14.5 million to Mike Jackson, $54 million to Treshaun Wharton, $21 million to Bobby Brown, and $51 million to Trayvon Mooring. And again, we've said this before. I know everybody has a lot of beef for David Tepper, but it helps to have an owner with deep pockets who can have all the guaranteed monies of the signing bonuses and all that shit. It helps when you have somebody like David Tepper. Say what you want about him. It's just the truth.
This is a boot-licking, ass-licking comment right here. Guess what? You didn't have any choice but to spend money on the defense. So shut up. Shut up. You can say this, oh, it's $250 million. He put all the contracts together. The Panthers didn't have a defense. They didn't have a safety on the team. Come on. This is exactly what they had to do. And any GM that didn't do this would be a fool. This is not, you know what? If the Panthers, how about this? I don't know if David Tepper is trying to win. Of course he is. Who wouldn't be trying to win? But if you didn't do this, you'd be trying to lose.
Yeah. That's it. That's
all right. You can go to Carolina.
Some merch.
You can go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com. You can hit the shop tab. You got to use PayPal because it's crazy. Joe Riolano, rest in peace, my brother, was the person that we signed up for the site. And they will not. They're like, we don't have a. They need him to sign the paper to get the Square Pay or whatever. I was like, he is dead. And they're like, you got to send me a death certificate. I was like, dude, I mean, I'm his best friend, but I'm going to send I was like, anyway, this has been going on for 2 years. You got to use PayPal, I'm pretty sure. But go buy some merch. If you use PayPal, you can buy the merch. You can get that, the great shirt, the great, the mug is dope. It's the dopest thing. It's small. That's, you know what? You can be a super fan. That helps. You can smash the thumbs up. You can subscribe. That helps even more. You can tell a friend. You can join us next Tuesday night and call into the show at 252-228-5098. All those things help. Your time, your energy.
Drop the link to the website in the comment section, please.
All right, I got you.
CarolinaCatChronicles.com. And as a season,
I'm going to go straight to the merch. How about that? I'll give you the Cody. Let's ice some fools up.
Let's do it, man. All right, time for our longest running segment on the longest running Panthers podcast. This is our homage to Steve Smith, the embattled Steve Smith. But this is where we tell somebody to toughen up, get it together. It's time to ice some fools up.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It's our time on the longest running Panthers podcast, on the longest running segment, to ice some fools up. Last week, we got iced up in the comments because our ice up wasn't enough. I guess we didn't show enough death, destruction. I didn't bring death, destruction about realness. Cody, what do you got for us? Do you want me to go?
You go first.
All right. My ice up, and this is like just it's not personal, it's just for humans, is I'm icing up the feeling of uncertainty. I'm icing up the feeling of like patient, like where you start to lose patience where you're starting, like, things in your life are going on and you want them to happen faster. And I mean, I think this is a lot of message of Jesus people bring in, which I'm Catholic. I love all of that. Is that you start to trust and you start to think too much about yourself and not enough about the reality of the world and the reality of God, maybe, or I don't know the right words to say it. But what I want to say is this: is I want to ice up those feelings of impatience, uncertainty. Because if you bring that patience and you get that calmness to you, the goodness will come. And if you try to rush something too much, you'll make an error. So let the good come to you. Don't get impatient. Ice up that feeling. Ice up to uncertainty and heat up some confidence.
Ice up. So listen, mine is a little bit political, but don't worry, it's bipartisan, right? Because I'm here to ice up bipartisan politics. Because what happens is you have this long history now that whenever presidents do these addresses to Congress, these State of the Union speeches, there are times when you rise and you applaud. And last year during Joe Biden's speech, he condoned, or he said, we must condone political violence, and then none of the Republicans stood up. That's some bullshit. You should be able to outright say, no matter who the president is, you condone, or you do not condone. Yeah, condemn. You condemn political violence. Well, this year, Trump is doing the State of the Union, and there was a young man with brain cancer named DJ Daniel, and he was made an honorary Secret Service member, and it was a really cool thing. And listen, I understand a lot of people hate Donald Trump, but the fact that none of those Republicans or Democrats, pardon me, could even show a little decorum for someone that had a dream come true, like those are the moments when we're supposed to be able to come together, put partisan politics aside, and just be good Americans. And to me, I think it's bullshit when both sides refuse to do it. And I'm icing them up, man. These partisan politics, they just bring out the worst in us, man. So no fun one tonight. Sorry, I'm going to get a tooth pulled very early in the morning tomorrow. So I'm not in the best, most friendly of moods. But yeah, I sell partisan politics, man. It's ripping the country apart.
CK, do you have an ice up for us?
It's no, we've already got politics. I'm good, man. I'm good.
I do have. It's a slight ice up to my. I don't know. I've heard that. Well, I know that and this is another bipartisan issue, that daylight savings time is the only issue that both parties agree on, but they can't change it. But what I'm icing up is I don't know which is daylight savings. Is daylight savings what we were in or what we're at now? I feel like I like longer days.
Yeah.
So when I say I'm anti daylight savings, like I want to get rid of daylight savings time. I don't want it to be dark at 5:30 and 6. But then someone told me today that wasn't daylight savings, and because their kids got up. I don't know even what daylight savings is.
Daylight savings is the getting up, like basically having it be daylight sooner. And so that's going to be for the winter because the days are shorter. And so daylight savings time as the fall to springtime, where they want to be able to, the argument is that so that the kids can have daylight when they're getting on the bus. But again,
I don't care about them kids in the morning. My ass ain't trying to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. I'm not trying to go to bed at 7 o'clock.
I don't like it when it gets dark at 7.
I know.
I'm not into it.
5:30 or whatever.
I'm not into it. If you're in the Eastern time zone or the middle of the country, it's even wilder. It gets dark at like 4 at night. It's
that, man. So I know I'm icing up going to bed at 7 o'clock, and I'm icing up getting up at 6:30 in the morning.
Well, hey, This has been another edition of the C3 Panthers podcast.
Let's get out of here.
The longest running Panthers podcast. Dude, it was an incredible show. Great free agency period. There's probably going to be more stuff to come. I'm available, so if there's some big time signing, which I don't even know who or what that would be, but maybe tomorrow in the afternoon or the day after, if there's a big time signing, I'll try and go live and react with the C3 Legion. But that's it. That's it for us. That's the professor, Tony Dunn. That's the voice that makes the voice, Cody Allen. I am the producer of the C3 Panthers podcast, Cody Lashley. I will be back this Friday at 7 p.m. for another version of the C3 Friday Free For All. C3 Legion, have a wonderful night. And as always, keep pounding.